Good morning. I ask that you all please bear with me because I'm kind of losing my voice right now. I can always remember that long bus ride, 4.5 long hours of sitting, waiting, and hoping that my iPod wouldn't die. We were all waiting to arrive at Clemson University, waiting to start what I thought was simply summer camp, waiting to start what most of us viewed as an escape and a getaway from the corridor of shame. A culmination of people that I had seen at a few rival basketball and football games, and a few from my school, enough people to make me feel comfortable. I was in for a surprise as I pulled up to Burns Hall the summer of 2006. As I look back at the young man I was then, I'm filled with gratefulness and astonishment. Growth is such a beautiful thing, and as cheesy as it sounds, a great bit of my growth I do owe to the Clemson Emerging Scholars Program. A shy and timid Jason Combs would exit that charter bus onto Clemson's campus, but after a total of 3 summers, a leader and newly motivated person would emerge. 6 weeks seems like a short time to grow, but in all honesty, it was just the right amount of time. The program's mixture of social and academic programs allows its students to experience college life, a life that many students from my area have no idea of. This is a life that many students from the small town of Allendale, South Carolina have no hopes of experiencing. This fear comes from the lack of knowledge and the lack of resources necessary to start this journey. Kids that have been taught that graduating from high school will be their biggest accomplishment of their lives now have a haven. That haven came to me in the form of Clemson's Emerging Scholars. Aaron has given you a brief background of the areas in the corridor of shame, and these are merely pieces of the puzzle. Have you ever had siblings or family members in a school with no heat in the dead of winter? Many days my mother would stress over sending my younger brother to a school bundled in clothes just to stay warm. Have you ever had water leaks in the roof of your educational facility? I will never forget walking through the halls of Allendale Fairfax High School, passing numerous buckets of water with yellow caution signs around them. Have you ever experienced spending your entire middle school career in the side of your high school in trailers because the funding for your middle school reconstruction halted? Imagine attending a school surrounded by barbed wire fences resembling those of a correctional facility. When all of those factors come together in a place of education, most lose hope. Lost hope leads to deterioration of dreams. How can I hope to succeed in a place in which obstacles are so easily thrown upon me without my control? Yes, kids skip school, and yes, kids drop out. And to be honest, those are easier paths to take than the one that I had. It's easier to give up and give in to those obstacles and become another statistic. But Emerging Scholars is working to keep hope alive. And I'm here today to let you know that that hope is not going unnoticed. I spent my entire freshman and sophomore years at Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. In January of 2011, I applied for a position as a program advisor with the Emerging Scholars Program. In March of that year, I received the position. Being on the opposite side of the spectrum, I was able to see many Jasons all around. It is a blessing to see these students take on a similar path as my own. 2 of the best summers of my life were spent with the Emerging Scholars staff. That summer, I decided to transfer to Clemson University to further help out with the program. 2 years, many cups of coffee, and late nights wondering why I did not start that research paper sooner. Later, I received my Bachelor's of Arts degree in Political Science. And in June of this year, and I commissioned as a second lieutenant in the United States Army Reserve. On June 15th of this year, I will be heading to Fort Jackson, Columbia for my final phase of training before I take over a unit as a platoon leader. I owe thanks to Emerging Scholars for all of my accomplishments. I'm one of many that is the product of the program. Upon completion of my training, I aspired to attend graduate school to pursue a Master's of Education in Counseling Education in hopes to better the program and help expand it and broaden it out a little bit. If you asked me 4 years ago what I wanted to do with my life, I would have honestly looked at you with a blank stare. And maybe if you caught me on a good day, you would have gotten some cheesy answer like, I'm using this time to maybe figure out my life goals. It's funny and inspiring to know that even upon completion of the program, it is still finding ways to mold and inspire me. Thank you.